America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to excuse me.
Now, it may get bigger, it may get a little bigger, it may not get bigger at all. We'll see what happens. But regardless of what happens, we're totally prepared.
This is your victory. Now, I know you didn't do this just to win an election. And I know you didn't do it for me. You did it because you understand the enormity of the task that lies ahead.
You're not going to believe this. He killed 16 Czechoslovakians. Guy was an interior decorator. His house looked like shit.
What?
Give me a hell yeah! I said give me a hell yeah!
I'm Coach Casey. He's TJ. This is the middle of the road. What's up, buddy?
Not a lot.
What have you been up to? We really haven't talked much.
Not much. I was
since
working right
last
by
show.
you today.
Were you? You said that.
At your gas station.
I almost, when I went to lunch for my 10-minute break today for lunch, I said, "What are you doing for lunch today? You want to bring me something?" No.
I almost called you to see if you wanted something, but I had a doctor's appointment today, and you know how
Can they turn you to a woman, or are you too far gone?
Too much. You know how I was sick a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
Well, it's probably been 3 weeks now.
Okay.
2 weeks ago, my back started hurting, just on my left side, like below my shoulder blade, and it was only when I'm sitting. So like when I'm in my truck, when I'm at my desk, shit like that.
But like up high, down low?
Like below my shoulder
Okay,
blade.
this is one you were talking to me about if you
Yeah.
asked me if I'd been sick. Okay.
Yeah, and so it was coming around. It felt like it was kind of coming around my rib cage. And I finally was like, okay, I'm going to go to the doctor. So I went to the doctor today. And
Oh, shit, we're not on air. Keep going.
Now
we're on air. Sorry, we're live now.
Yeah, so I was thinking about it. I was like, something, like I've had my wife massage it, and it still wasn't getting better. I was taking Advil, it wasn't getting better, and I told the doctor, I said, I've been sick. And he goes, I think it's something in your lungs. So my lungs are swollen, and they're rubbing against my rib cage.
So it's not from like you didn't like do it lifting or drop a weight on it or something?
Nope. And he said, because I was like, yeah, like the first week of it, like I'd take a deep breath and it would hurt and I'd feel like I was going to puke.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think about it because he goes, you throwing up or anything? I said, no. It's like, well, sometimes like back when it first started, if I take deep breath in, it hurt so bad I felt like I was going to puke. And then he was like, yeah, let's go get you some x-rays. And he gave me x-rays, and I had all these white spots all over my lung, and yeah, that's what it's from.
So what? They don't know what it is?
It's from whenever I got sick. It's called a pleuri, pleurisy or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it it's normal and it goes away,
it's not
or
normal? They got to get me on some medicine, but
it's not like the start of like cancer. Or it's
No,
not.
he
It's
don't-
not like herpes like growing
No.
inside your throat from.
He
or
said
anything?
it has nothing to do with my AIDS or any of that.
Okay,
kind of stuff,
so
or
none
my
of that.
Hep
No
C.
reactions
Yeah.
up from that.
He goes. You don't have cancer. I was like, well, I don't know, maybe.
No, you told me. That's
Yeah.
kind of why I'm here.
That
I mean,
was like one of his first.
I
questions.
hope not.
And then so after he showed me, I said, so I'm not gonna die, and he goes,
I don't think so.
Not today. I don't
yeah, you
think.
shouldn't anytime soon. Today is 2/6/23. Our sponsor, Jordache Cologne. Yep, it's still available
bet you
online
got
and some
some in there,
other.
don't you?
I do, man. That I don't know why I was driving home today and I didn't. I tried some new Old Spice cologne, and it's not like I smell bad by no means because I couldn't handle that, but I don't. It's not the same. I don't know how to describe it. But there was a little bit, and so I just.
You still have some Jordan cologne?
I don't know, not anymore. I have cool water. I've got like
You got
3
the
different
thing
kinds
like
of pool.
like the Bry Man, don't you? Just like.
Oh yeah,
opens up.
my cabinet has got, especially like my wife got on like all these like Calvin Klein ones and stuff. I didn't. You have to wear only if you're wearing like a suit or something.
Oh,
like
yeah.
certain clone I just can't wear as daily.
Sex Panther.
Very sexy is my daily go-to.
Okay.
It's just got a little bit of Panther in it. It's only like 1% Panther, not 68% Panther.
Okay.
So, what'd you do over this weekend? Did you go out into public or anything?
No, we took our Christmas tree down though.
Finally? Well,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Yeah.
Well, that's some people do that tradition at the beginning of February.
Our goal was to have it down by February 1st, and What was?
Oh
we
shit! You
made
guys
it to
could
the
make that like so. A couple years ago on another show I do, we did a Pete Buttigieg and his beautiful husband putting up their Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Well, for Valentine's Day, that could be your guys' tradition,
Take
like
it down?
taking it down, doing like sexy pictures,
Ooh,
taking
that'd
it
be
down.
Cool. Yeah, I
You
like
got-
that.
That could make that your Valentine's tradition.
No, I didn't go anywhere or do anything this weekend.
Well, I went out and as you see, hey, shared the show. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm officially in the New Balance Club. Last show you were here.
You got another new pair of kicks?
I did. I took you and showed you my other New Balance. So I went out shoe shopping, okay? And to go like to the places where people with really bad feet go, apparently it's only rich places anymore you can go.
Go like fancy shoe stores?
Yeah, like I went to, have you heard of REI?
Where's it at? In Delano?
No, it's northeast side. It's up by like like the sports forum and over in that area.
Fancy up there by Top Golf?
Yes, up
Yeah,
over
okay.
there. So go up there. It's $30 membership just to get in. So
What?
It's not. It's $30. They have a one-time membership. The cool thing about it, we didn't do it. We're those people that said no, we don't do your membership.
Yeah.
It's $30 lifetime. You're for your family. You get a membership.
What does that
Any
get you?
shoes that you get. Basically, they have like these trade-in shoes and like hunting and fishing and camping gear, but expensive stuff that they trade in, like people don't want.
Like Sitka and stuff?
Yeah, and it's like 80% off of that.
Really?
So, and then if you buy shoes, you get 1 year return policy on them. If you don't like them, how comfortable they are, as long as they're not like completely, you can't just go
For full price?
Yeah, full return. You can get cash, store credit. You get 90-day is the main reason I bought a pair of shoes from them to test this policy out, because I'm going to go 90 days, take them back.
Get a new set?
Yeah, because these were on sale. But if when I take them back and they have the color I want and the new style, they count. I can get them for those too.
Do they like check your feet and everything there?
Yeah. Well, you can. I did. Like I tried on. So I went there. Have you ever heard of Hoka's? We talked about them before. They're like a nurse's shoe, and people with really bad feet. So I went and tried them on, and they were pretty comfortable, but they're massive. They felt like wearing moon boots, and they looked like it. The heels were like 2 inches back from behind the back of your foot and 2 inches in front. It was just massive, and I just couldn't get over it. And
they do look weird.
And they weren't that comfortable either. I mean, for me, they were in the front and the back, but I've got kind of wide feet. So
Me too.
But what I realized, I guess, in this experience more is I just don't know if I belong anymore, especially at those kind of places. It was like when we pulled in the parking lot, like you start seeing the cars, and it's like Range Rover, brand new Acura.
You felt like you didn't belong because you're a homosexual, or because
no,
they're
poor white
rich?
trash,
Okay,
poor
all right.
people, poor, and like I don't know if it's all too much smoking of the smoky stuff has just got me to where I'm just, I don't know, man. I hate it. Like I hate going out. I hate the guy that was helping me was Sven or something. He had a little beard and he was wearing.
Did you say thin or something?
No, Sven. I don't know what his.
Oh.
No,
Oh,
like
that's his name.
Edgar, Harul,
Yeah.
Thor. I don't know the guy that.
Yeah.
So the guy that checked us
He's
out.
one of your people. He's a liberal, probably.
I don't know if he was or not. The guy that checked us out. It wasn't. It was like I don't even know. How, it wasn't Kyle. It was like Hyle, Hyle, or so. It was just
Hilly.
It was something weird, but I don't know. Just the more I go out into those places, I definitely don't belong. Like
Well,
I
you're
feel
in
more
the
comfortable.
Wrong part of town.
So I said I feel more comfortable in like Walmart, and I didn't used to. I used to call them those people.
Well, maybe you should be like go pick in the middle and go to Academy or Dick's or something like that.
Yeah, they just didn't have none of the shoes I was.
What makes you want New Balance all of a sudden?
It wasn't them. It was all the others. I just tried these on, and of all the ones I tried on, these have they've got a fresh foam. They're just not of all, like the one New Balance I got were joke. They're 420s. They were green and whatever. They were joke.
Yeah.
They were $30. These were normally 180, and I got them for 105, which is still stupid. But feel how light they are. I know I've been wearing them today,
Those are really light.
but they're really light, and they're the first. I've wore them all day, and this is probably the best my feet have felt
Well, that's
in
good.
6 or 7 months.
Something good that you need to have is good feet.
So I went out, and so I'm gonna start stepping up.
Did you go anywhere else up there? Did you go by Top Golf and check it out?
No, we were gonna. It was so packed. We were just gonna. We've been to one, but not
I've
that
never
one.
been.
We need to. We'll set that up and do. I was gonna see if there was a way. I need to get a smaller little board, but it'd be awesome if we could go and do at least a little bit of recording while we're there.
I saw something on TikTok. Some lady's kid bolted out there here in Wichita.
Jumped off.
Well, because you can be on ground level
Yeah.
and it bolted out like
Oh.
a 4-year-old or something is just out there
People
fucking
start-
burning hot wraps.
Well,
yeah.
you know what we'd be doing if we were out there drinking. Thump,
Yeah,
thump.
probably not at a like if it was like
Okay.
a teenager, probably.
Or if Skin Man was with us and me and no.
Me and you would. But yeah, I don't know.
No, so I don't know, and I've been venturing out a little more and more lately, and I've decided I probably should do it less and
Well, there's all
less.
kinds of shit up there.
Oh man,
I
it's
just remember
crazy.
what was that place that we used to mow up there on the other side?
I know what you're talking. Oh, we did the FedEx up there, and
Yeah.
we did the
Was it-
Colligan, and
Was
we
there
did.
something else? It was FedEx.
Yeah,
FedEx
and then
is-
I did another little office park over there, and
Yeah.
there used to be a bouncy place up over there I did. And
I
so
found out a guy.
it's crazy how much stuff's up there compared to.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
And
That's
I
what
don't
told
hardly
my
ever
wife.
go over there.
Yeah. I'm working with a guy. I've been doing survey this last week, and this guy has a couple bouncy house that you go and you rent and set
Yeah.
up, and he's saying that it's pretty good money in that deal.
Yeah, did you tell him he's going to be part of my lawsuit when I got MRSA? I'm still fighting that.
MRSA?
Yeah, when the boy was like 7, 8, we rented one of those in the front
Oh,
yard.
yeah?
We did a freaking Spider-Man
cost you?
one. It was like $180. I mean, it really wasn't that crazy. I mean, it was,
That's what he said. 150, and then he's got a water slide. That's gonna be 300.
and that's what I said. It was something like that, and you paid because we did it on like a Saturday in prime time hours, and that, and we paid for it for like 8 hours or something stupid. We had them set it up like
Yeah.
at 8 in the morning, and it was there till 5 at night or whatever. But no, I had a little tiny open cut on my arm, and of course at that time was before I was trashed up body wise. So I was that kid that got in there, and me and Boy, as soon as they set it up, we were in there for 2 hours before
Yeah.
people got there, and then all the kids came over. Well, then I got it's basically staph infection.
Yeah, staph, yeah.
So I got it, and it was real bad. We thought it was a bug bite, and then we found out that's what it was. And they're like, as we're going through the questioning, they're like, well, have you been like to any of like,
Yeah.
they were naming like Chuck E. Cheese and
Yeah.
anything. Like, have you been in a bouncy castle? I'm like, those mother effers.
Yep, they got you.
They got me. They merced me. So,
Well, that's shitty.
well, real quick, I'll go to a story here, but the China balloon, we might as well get to it. What's your take on it? Where are you?
I don't think anybody, I don't give a shit what if it's fucking Canada. Nothing needs to be coming through American airspace and be allowed to go all the way across our country, especially not China.
Okay. See, and that's where the difference of it is. One, I don't really care. Two, because especially even listening to like we stopped listening to military and we started listening to our pride in our heads as countries. And I'm not going to say this isn't going to swing back my way another time, but here's just my take. From every top intelligence official, they could get less from that than they could get from any satellite that they can pull up and look at. Not saying it's good or not. We also, according to them, we were collecting some data on them and learning about how they would do this if they were going to do this. So there are multiple sides. I agree. If we were going to shoot it down, probably should have shot it down before it ever got. But also to come to find out, this would have been the 5th one if it had made it undetected. This was the longest one had been here, but we'd had 4 other ones previous in the last 4 years. It's apparently something they do. I don't think, but I think like my fear was if it really was like a weapon of war, like if they had it full of COVID and we shot it over Montana, that's probably not a bad place for it to fall.
Yeah, I
But
mean, that's where least amount of people would.
everywhere else that it was, I think once they I don't know. I guess I'm just torn on. Probably should have done something, but I also listening to intelligence people, I don't know what they got from it, and we'll find out because if we can find it, we'll find out what they were going to get,
Do you have? Okay. Do you have like an end of the world scenario? Okay, I'll tell you something.
To me, something like that could be the one. What if that was the monkeypox in there? And
I
they
just
were
think about like
to me, it was that
Red Dawn. That reminds me of Red Dawn. Like,
well, and what scares me is listen to a guy today. They say these other 4 came and gone without us knowing it. And one of them was only over the continental U.S. for like 4 hours once we found out. This one obviously was
all the way across.
but it took until it was way into Canada before anybody really knew what it was and where it was. So that scares me that we can detect a little tiny plane, like all this stuff. But this is what China's test is. How far?
Yeah.
Well, it was also our test of, what I mean. So I don't know.
So I've
My
been
end
having
scenario. Okay.
I've been having these dreams. This is not a shit.
You want to Red Dawn it? Is that what you?
No, I've been having these dreams. I've been having these same dreams since I was a kid. Same kind of scenario. And I had another one of them this weekend. So,
Okay, what's this scenario?
in my dream, these are exactly the same dreams. I'm telling you, since I was a kid. I'm out at my parents' house, looking towards the south. So it's like a mile from my parents' house to the next, to the road from anybody's house. And there's planes crashing down, like big planes, like 747s crashing down at my parents' house, like in front. So it's like the end of the world shit. And this dream I had this week was a little bit different. I was in my work truck. A guy that used to work for my dad when I was in high school was driving my truck, but he was that age still. Like he's, in his 40s now. He was driving the truck. My dad was in the passenger seat, and I was in the back. And we're driving. And as we're driving south from my parents' house, there's a cop coming this way. But he's not in a cop car. He's in one of the F-250 trucks, like a highway patrol.
Like Walking Dead? Or Walking Tall, I mean?
Yeah, no, that's a Bronco. It's like an F-250.
I know what you're talking about.
He's coming this way, and we're like, well, that's weird. And we look in the ditch, and there's like a 90s Fox body style Mustang in the ditch. We're like, what the fuck? That's weird. And at that time, all of a sudden we just, and there's like a UPS jet crashing. It crashes like within like a half a mile from us. And I'm like, Zach, go that way. So Zach starts turning the truck down the paved road, and as we're heading that way, another fucking 747 crashes, boom, like half a mile from us. And we're like, what the fuck? And we flip around, and as we're flipping around, there's these buses and shit coming down this other road. And that's the first time that's happened like that, where it's
the actual the fallout part of it, not just the start of it.
But it's and I always just boom, wake back up. And then I woke up, and it always takes me a little bit. And then I went back to sleep, and I got back into the dream again, and it was like the next part of it where there's shit on the ground and stuff.
This started pre-steroids or after? I'm telling you, I'm just fucking.
I've been having these dreams since I was like a little kid, like 6 or 7 years old.
I don't know if I have. I played a lot of games, like video games growing up, and then also like scenario games. And mine's always been a similar to that, minus I don't think it got to that point. Like as far as mine was always like that fallout of whether it was a nuclear or whatever, but it was always the grid goes down. It's a plague type thing, or because as soon as you don't have the water, don't have the thing, you don't realize when you don't have treatment, you don't have that how quick people get sick, and then it's always the looting. Mine's a slow, miserable one. Yours seems a little bit better as far as planes come. No, yours is probably a similar one. The grid goes down. You don't have the planes don't have power. You don't have
my plan's always been to get to my parents' house. Like that's always been the plan because you got a longer chance for survival out there than you would in town.
Here's my take on the China thing is the reason they went over Montana, Kansas, and all that, because that's everybody's plan when the fallout happened. They're trying to see where all these people that talk about, well, I got one in Montana, I'm going up to my parents' house in nowhere. They're trying to see where all those are set up. They're not worried about the missile silos. They're trying to see where when we take over these cities, where are all these little Red Dawn motherfuckers going to be holding out?
Their next stop. They'll go wipe out the big cities first, and we'll have like a week or so before
to get ready and build up to fight fight them now. I don't know. I don't spend a lot of my days or my time, mainly because I'm worried about video games and this and stuff.
Have you
worried about
played that game they just made in the show on HBO, The Last of Us? Ever played that game?
No, we've talked about we want to start watching that show though.
I'm on episode.
We've been rewatching The Walking Dead from the beginning, so that's been
I just finished it. Well, I think we talked about that.
Yeah, that's been a weird stroll down memory lane.
Yeah, I mean those first few seasons are pretty good, and then there's some pretty dull ones in there. But yeah, good show.
Oh yeah, I fell off. We were rewatching it so we can catch up the 4 or 5 seasons that we're behind. But we got to start over from the beginning like we did the first time.
Shane's still my favorite.
I figured he would be. He's my least favorite, but he's the bad guy. I know he's.
You like Daryl, probably, don't you?
He's one of my favorites. Yeah, actually, Herschel was probably my favorite of all time. And so that's why this is we're at the point when they're at the farm right now meeting him
Herschel's
right
farm?
when Carl gets shot.
Oh yeah.
So
but that was like an accident, right?
Yeah, his little hand accidentally shoots him when he's shooting the deer.
Yeah.
Because he's standing there watching the deer when the girl goes missing.
Oh yeah.
So so that's been different. No, I liked him, and then I liked Merle was one of my favorite, just as far as which was Daryl's brother. Yeah, because he was hilarious.
Yeah.
And he was the straight up killer, and he's getting ready to come back again. Well, he's a season away from coming back again. So that's all that. What'd you have for news? And then I
do have one
with some.
I have several.
Okay.
Oldest dog ever record broken by a 30-year-old Bobby from Portugal.
Maybe Tank has a chance.
Maybe so. 2 weeks after announcing Spike as the world's oldest dog living, Guinness Records have received evidence of an older dog, a much older dog. In fact, Bobby, born May 11th, 1992.
How can you prove it? I guess I don't know. Get a tattoo. Now you have to tattoo a dog at birth so you can.
Bobby is 30 years, 266 days as of February 1st.
Almost 31. Crazy.
He's lived his entire life with the Costa family in the rural village of
Well, yeah, Bob
Conqueiros.
Costa's had a freaking awesome life.
Well, he's a good announcer. I remember him with the Knicks.
When
and
he's had great money, so you can just keep getting all kinds of. You just put more.
Bobby is a purebred Rafio do Alge. Yep. Which is a breed of livestock guardian dog with an average life expectancy of 12 to 14 years. So he's lived twice his age.
I was going to say that. He's died and they've replaced him with the. Like,
I don't know.
I think the dad's the only one that knows this in the scenario. It happened long ago.
I was 8 years old when we got him, and I'm now 38.
They've been replacing it like every 4th year with another
guess.
old version. He keeps having babies of it and insets in them now.
Well, speaking of that, this reminds me of something. You ever seen the movie Age of Adeline?
No.
Okay. Do you know anything about it?
No.
Okay. It has Blake Lively in it.
Okay.
You know who she is, right?
I do know who she is. Yes.
1 to 10 on Blake Lively.
Certain things an 8, 8.5. Certain things a 7.
We were watching.
She's anywhere. I mean, it just depends. She talks. She moves down my list.
She's got a pretty manly voice.
I don't love her voice. No,
it's not. Anyways, so the movie's about
great actress though, beautiful person. I'm sure.
The movie's about this woman was born in 1906, which is Adeline.
Okay.
She grows up, gets married, has a kid, and her husband dies. And she's on a drive to go get her kid. So this is like in like the 1930s. So she's driving like a Model A or whatever. Rex goes off a bridge into icy waters. Her temperature drops to like 80 degrees. So she's like not breathing. She's at 80 degrees. Lightning comes down, strikes her car.
Okay.
Puts her back to life.
Back to life. She's a human zombie now.
Yeah. Now she'll never age again. She stays 28 years old or whatever she is at that point.
Do you think this has been recreated? Have people tried this?
I don't. It'd be awesome.
Can we try it on my legs?
Maybe. So after she figures out, like, hey, I'm not aging. She doesn't know why. I mean, she knows she had the accident, but she doesn't know why. She's
survived
not getting older.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's like gets pulled over by the cops, shows them her driver's license, which whenever that was just a fucking piece of paper, and the cop's like, it says you're 45 years old. She's like, yeah, that's right. And he's like, I don't think so. We're going to take this and you need to come back with your birth certificate. So she's like, I got to get the fuck out of here. So she moves. So then her new plan is, and at one point the government tries to come and get her. So
Because they want to figure out why she's not aging.
Yeah, so she's like, hey, I got to move every 10 years. 10 years. So she's got a daughter who's
It's like Unbreakable.
who's like caught up with her. Yeah, so they're like switching spots. So the story goes on. Her daughter's like now in her 80s.
Got a grandkid.
Yeah. I don't know. They never really said that.
Okay,
they just
sorry.
kind of just showed
I
the
just
daughter.
assumed there was going to be a.
So she kind of doesn't stay and stays out of love with people because she knows she can't.
She could just start. But she could keep swinging that.
Well, she at one point is gonna. She's with a guy and she's gonna marry. He's gonna ask her to marry him. She pulls up. She's supposed to meet him. She sees him sitting there with the ring box and she fucking bolts. Well,
This has got Kevin Costner in it.
yes.
Maybe I have seen it.
So
I've seen parts of it.
Come flash forward. No, not Kevin Costner. Han Solo.
Okay.
Steven,
there we go. I know you're
What's
talking.
his name? Harrison Ford.
There you go. I have a story about him.
Yeah. So fast forward through time, she decides, you know what, she meets a guy. She's like, you know what, it's time. I should love this guy.
Yeah.
So she ends up going home or going to his parents' 40th anniversary. She walks in the door. Indiana Jones is like, Adeline? And she's like, no, I'm Jennifer. He's like, oh, you look like my friend. Adeline, we were very, very close. And the wife's like, motherfucker, who is Adeline?
Uh-huh.
We've been together 40 years. Who the fuck is Adeline?
Uh-huh.
Well, Adeline, that was the guy with the box. Well, they go somewhere, and he catches this glimpse of this scar on her hand.
And he knows it's her.
He knows it's her because she ran into a stick or something, and he stitched it up for her, and he's like, you're Adeline. And she says that Adeline's her mom.
Okay.
And he's like, wow, you just look just like her, And she's like, no, I'm Jennifer. So the whole point of the story is, or my take on this was, say you're the guy, the new boyfriend, right?
Okay.
You find out that Adeline is in fact ageless and will never age again,
Okay.
right? Would you still want to mess with her knowing that she used to fuck your dad and that she was in love with your dad? Could you be with her?
I'd be fine with it.
You'd be okay with that?
Yeah, it'd be cool. I was good, but I got along with my dad. I used to try to share with him in high school. So, I mean, yes.
No, realistically, though.
Realistically,
You'd be okay
though.
with that?
Yeah, I wouldn't care.
I couldn't do it. So she
I
ends
have
up,
a stepdad. I have a stepmom fantasy. I wouldn't care.
that wouldn't be that way.
Kind of.
Well, so she ends up getting in
Kind
a wreck. Same thing happens. She's laying out there.
I'd be the ultimate stepmom.
Yeah, I guess so. She gets hypothermia again.
Then starts aging.
Then they shock her with paddles. You know, ambulance comes up there, shocks her, comes back to life. Well, then, like, she doesn't know it. Then, like, a couple months later, she's walked by a mirror and she's got a little gray hair. So now she's going to
Benjamin Buttons. I wonder how quick she ages at that point.
Yeah, I
I
don't
wonder
know.
if it's like sped up.
The movie ended, but there is no fucking way. I could not do it. I don't.
So Rotten Tomatoes, what's your score?
It was a good movie.
What's yours? I mean, you 9? Are you a 5?
1 out of 10 scale?
Yeah, or a 78. You know, I don't know.
Like
How
on
100? What's your percentage?
On a 10 scale, I'd give it an 8.
Okay.
It was a good movie.
All right,
And you know, like I watch it with my wife, and it's like a love movie. So
I was waiting to see if anybody had
Valentine's
watched.
Day crossed off the list.
Oh, see, I don't know. I'll have to. Maybe I'll
It's
investigate.
on Netflix. I'd give it a whirl.
All right. So
I got more stories.
the
here.
dog to age of Adeline.
Yep. Have you heard about the Micky Mantle lewd oral sex Yankees questionnaire up for auction?
No.
This is an older story.
Okay. I have not.
So Micky Mantle, they said, what would you consider an outstanding experience you had at Yankee Stadium? He said, I got a blowjob under the right field bleachers by the Yankee bullpen. And then it said this occurred on or about, give as much detail as you can. It was about the 3rd or 4th inning. I had a pulled hamstring and couldn't play at the time. She was a very nice girl and asked me what to do with it after I was done in her mouth. I said, I don't know. I'm not a cocksucker.
That seems like that might be made up, man.
No, this is real. He signed it and everything. Look at it sold for let's see it sold for over $10,000.
Man, I don't know. Of course, you hear all those stories about those guys. I mean,
Micky Mantle was a pimp dick, man.
yeah, back then for sure.
I don't know. I'm not a cocksucker, he says.
Well, you think you'd know? I don't know.
What about this? Have you seen, and this is really happening, scientists are bringing back woolly mammoths in Siberia to help fight climate control?
No, I did not.
So they're using CRISPR. I saw this on Joe Rogan, and I looked the story up.
Well, then it's got to be true.
They're they're finding all these woolly mammoths, and they're basically Jurassic Parking. They're taking DNA from
Putting it in like an elephant.
they're using like the same kind of elephants they use from circus, that kind of elephant, and they're mixing them, and they're gonna have freaking baby woolly mammoths.
So is this to be able to like fight climate change?
Yeah,
but you would think putting hair on them. I mean, if it's gonna get hotter.
Well, it's something. Okay, here it says. Church and others believe that resurrecting resurrecting the mammoth would plug a hole in the ecosystem left up by their decline about 10,000 years ago.
So there's been a whole. What's been the decline? I mean, we're just now filling this after 10,000 years.
Well,
Are dinosaurs next? God damn it, Jurassic Park. We
I
don't
guess
need
so.
them.
We need them.
It sounds like we've been fine without them.
No, we got to fill this hole.
So it's not climate change. It's woolly mammothlessness that is really causing.
They're helping. Yeah. Yep.
They'll bring back the ozone.
So they haven't been in
their
Siberia
farts reverse what the cows do.
Farts. These aren't the ones that AOC's been talking about. Yeah.
Woolly ones, we need those prehistoric ones.
Mammoths once scraped away layers of snow so that the cold air could reach the soil and maintain the permafrost. After they disappeared, the accumulated snow, which is insulating properties, meant the permafrost began to warm, releasing greenhouse gases. So they argue that returning mammoths, or at least hybrids that would fill the same ecological niche to the Arctic, would reverse that trend. With the reintroduction of the woolly mammoth, we believe our work will restore the degrading ecosystem to a richer one, similar to the tundra that existed as recently as 10,000 years ago. There's a full one right there. Look at him. He's got...
That's a big third member. God didn't could hold him up by it.
Yep.
Is that his leg or something?
Right there.
It can't be his Wang, is it?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, so
That's scary.
yeah.
Well, I'm one of those people, like, if you're going to let's bring back things that we've lost in this lifetime. Let's bring back, like, repopulate the buffalo. Do the thing.
We still got buffalo.
But
they're working on it, though.
Of course, I heard those are, like, one of the most vicious beasts. Maybe we shouldn't bring those back. I did, so in the sports side of world, the Kyrie Irving trade just went down. And I think my stance on Kyrie Irving could be summed up as this: great athlete, horrible everything else. It just seems to be to me. I don't know,
he thinks the Earth's flat.
Yeah, he just, I guess maybe not even horrible, just horrible sense of direction for the kind of, he seems like an educated, smart dude, like as far as he talks. He seems to put.
He's like on Kanye platform.
Kind of. He's above reality, I guess, is the best way almost to
Or
say it. Or
in reality.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's not in it. So it just made me think, like, your boy Dave Portnoy over the weekend. I don't know about your boy, but he tweeted out, my worst sports, guys ever or whatever, and he had Kyrie on that.
Yeah, worst teammate list.
Yeah. And I would definitely, I disputed, like, the LeBron one personally.
He hates LeBron.
I know he does, with a passion.
More than anything.
And we'll get back to him in a second, but I pulled up a list of what they called Bleacher Report's top 20 worst teammates, and right off the bat, you're going to freaking hate it. Number 20.
I thought from the bottom. Okay.
Yeah, from the bottom. Number 20 on the list, Kobe Bryant. We could agree or disagree.
Mean.
Yeah, I'd say
Michael Jordan too.
For a certain point of his career, I would agree. Certain point, but he'd be that guy if you want to win. But yeah. Keyshawn Johnson, I agree. I liked him as a Cowboy. In certain points of his career, he was decent, but he was that me above everybody guy. 19. Tiki Barber, number 18. I just remember
Tiki Barber.
I just remember he was a bitch, and I remember he used to.
Speaking of Tiki Barber, I've been watching a show on Netflix called The Ultimate Beastmaster.
Okay.
And it's like Ninja Warrior but different. And Tiki Barber and CM Punk are host of it. And it's pretty good. He's
okay.
like, he looks like he was made for that. Like, he's like a good looking, like, looks like a fucking broadcaster, He's been trying,
him and his brother both, he's been trying to, since he left, he went down the Strahan path. He was on like Today's Show or one of those before Strahan.
Why was Tiki Barber a bad teammate?
I think there were stories that used to come out all the time. It said, why was he so low? Because he isn't on the bad husband list, but Barber seems to have been plenty bad as a teammate as well. He once said Eli Manning tried to lead the team in a commercial. I don't know. He called Strahan greedy. I think he was that guy that just called out teammates more. Jeff Kent's number 17. It got so bad Barry Bonds had a bitch at him about treating teammates better. 16, Allen Iverson. I heard that he's one of my favorite players, but I heard that from a lot of people. Guys loved him or didn't, but it's hard. He was one of those guys. Practice.
Didn't he also say that Larry Brown was a bad coach or something?
Yeah. Plexico Burris. What, just because he shot himself?
Yeah.
Or he was a drama person. He was 15. Jeff George, number 14. I always heard he was just like a hard ass, yeah. Albert Ainsworth, number 13. He was number 4 on Dave's list, and I don't. Yeah, and he stomped on. Yeah, Manny Ramirez, number 12.
I can see that.
Jerry Porter, number 11. I was just Randy Moss, number 10, and it's crazy because so many of these guys now are like that image celebrity whatever guy and gets along, but I could see that with him. I mean, throw me the damn ball type guy, just like Keyshawn.
Yeah, but every wide receiver's
I don't know if every one of them is.
Every star wide receivers.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's true. Like Larry Fitzgerald and a lot of those guys were not like that.
Yeah.
Well, I know, but
I saw something about Larry Fitzgerald. They said every time Larry gained weight, it was in his ass.
Yeah, he did have thick. I remember him and Bolton back in the day. They were like the two most yoked wide receiver pair.
Yeah.
Number 9 on the list, Gilbert Arenas. See, it's crazy because like he brought guns into the locker room and a bunch of things toward the end of his career I could see, and he was one of my favorite players. He was that Hitachi guy.
Who was that we were talking about the other day that got in a fight and it was like, oh, fucking kill Vernon Maxwell.
Yeah,
where's
I'll
he
see
at
if he's on here. Vince Carter, number 8, which is crazy because the end of his career he was that
like perfect teammate.
That perfect one, but I think just he not only has former teammates that have questioned his heart and some of his injuries, his whole country can't stand him. What? I like him.
Maybe in Canada people don't like him.
That's what he said. He was a bad teammate to all of freaking Canada. So apparently Canada don't like him.
Yeah.
Rafael Primero. I don't know if his was the steroids calling people out or what.
Yeah.
And he became the spokesman for Viagra back in the day too. Michael Westbrook. And I don't know. I guess fighting people was his. Joe Horn, which he was kind of that wide receiver stand. He's number 5 on the list. I don't recall like stuff about him, but I guess people didn't like him. John Terry. I don't even know who that is. He was a football player. Soccer player.
Oh,
European football.
That's why we don't know who that is.
Exactly. See, I don't like this. Number 3, tied at number 3, Barry Bonds, and they put both Barry Bonds on there, the 200-pound Barry Bonds and the 300-pound.
He's probably a fucking jerk, man.
I'm sure he was. And then Terrell Owens tied him at number 3 on that.
Okay.
And I can see that.
Yeah. Yeah, but he also, wanted to die for Romo, man.
He would. Well, that's the thing. I think
he said, "That's my quarterback, bro."
He was on both sides of that list because I think he was even like as a Cowboy. His was more like the media brought him attention than he brought, but he also loved it. Number 2 on the list, worst teammate ever, Tanya Harding. Took out her own team.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, she did some bad news to Nancy Kerrigan. Is Kyrie still number 1 on this?
No, he's not. This one's Delonte West, and I don't like that because that's poor. That guy's out on his luck.
LeBron's mom.
He fucked a whole lot of things up, but yeah, and just because he's a homeless guy, you keep seeing the videos about him all over and stuff.
Crack addiction, so.
Yeah, that they didn't even give reason why. I don't think you have to.
Yeah,
he tore up that Cavs team and a bunch of other teams. So
yeah,
mine personally, right now it'd have to be a Kyrie's. And how do you want to be the Nets? Like, I don't feel bad for the Nets ever in any sense of the word, but he's played less than half the games since he's been there. You paid him to sit out the COVID season. He's just made buku bucks and trade, and it costs them $5 million to trade him. They have to pay $5 million of his contract.
I don't want him there.
I know. Well, I don't think that. I know that he's not. They got a little bit of a trade for him, considering he was going to leave in free agency.
Well, they got like a pussy for an owner, and Mark Cuban's not going to stand up for no bullshit.
I hope not, man. But I fucking hate. I didn't think Cuban would do that, and I kind of hate that for Luka. Like if Kyrie like literally comes and plays basketball, then they're a good team.
Yeah.
But if he comes and pulls this shit or the media follows him with his bullshit or whatever, I don't think if you're trying to, why would you do that to Luka? I just don't get it. And trade the picks and some of his future for that. I just don't get it.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know.
Whatever. And I guess that leads me right to the next one, which is on his list, LeBron of worst teammates. I don't put him on that. He's thrown a bunch of guys under the bus, but there's a ton of guys around the league that would die to play with him, and that's the reason why I would say he's maybe not on that list. He could be somewhere on there, but he's getting ready to break the scoring record.
Yeah, he's 36 points away or something like that.
Yeah, and I don't even really so much. I mean, to me, there's a bunch of people saying, "Oh, that doesn't prove he's even one of the best," and who's even on the list. Well, here's the list of top best scores of all time, and you tell me which ones don't belong in your top 10 list of players or whatever.
Players.
So Kareem number 1 right now. LeBron. 2, Karl Malone.
Okay.
3, Kobe Bryant. 3, Karl Malone. 4, Kobe Bryant. 5, Michael Jordan. 6, Dirk Nowitzki. 7, Wilt Chamberlain. 8, Shaquille O'Neal. This is where it does get a little bit skewed, unless you're just 9, Carmelo Anthony. 10, Moses Malone. So short of maybe
there's a lot of guys that obviously put up a lot of points, and I saw some deal just today. I mean, Michael Jordan set out 5 seasons. Where would he be at on the list?
Oh yeah,
He'd probably be number 1.
Oh, for sure. No, that's not even a debate. That's where I'm saying though. That's where it puts the longevity.
I think probably Wilt's really the number 1 because he's probably got the shortest amount of games played.
Yeah, I think his per game average is the highest. But that's where I mean, even like Akeem's number 12. But that list is not. Besides, to me, the only one that
Carmelo and Moses Malone. Yeah,
and Moses.
Carmelo shot a lot of.
He did. He was a scorer. He was just that. He
didn't do anything else.
He was kind of that era of when offense took over. He was the beginning of that because you're gonna have, if anybody can stay healthy, you're gonna have a lot of other guys make that list.
And the
eventually.
NBA right now is just fucking awful. I mean, all it is no defense, 3-point shooting.
I've watched a little bit more this year.
It's hard to watch.
It is some unless you get the right games.
Yeah.
But then they just don't transition. Defense is bad. I love it in the playoffs though. So that then I guess led me to the main thing. What are some of the sports memories that like you remember like growing up, or what are those? Do you have any records that any of you like? Mine's obviously like the Emmitt Smith. Like I followed every
remember
game when
that.
he was getting ready to break that record and up and.
I remember every time Emmett would score right into that trunk, I was like, oh, there goes another ball into the trunk. If you're talking memories, like core sports memories,
like something that
they're
you
not even
followed.
not even of KU, which you would think, but they're like of watching Knicks and Bulls playoff basketball.
Yeah.
Or watching the Pacers. Like, I remember that shit.
Well, I remember that
shit is
first
burned in my brain.
first three-peat. I don't remember those first two champions. I mean, I do like when I go back and watch, but I remember that three-peat because
I didn't
it was
even like the Bulls.
See, I did. I don't know if I really did. I liked Jordan. I did. I liked Pippen and
I like
them.
the Knicks, man.
See,
John Starks was my favorite player, and I just loved how they battled against
Houston and all those
Yeah,
guys
I
back
mean,
then.
No, that's even. But you go even
Oakley
before that. Yeah,
and
Charles
Ewing
Oakley, Anthony
and-
Mason,
yeah.
which he was in the movie The Predator. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Or not. Daryl Harper, which he played for both the Bulls and them. I love those teams. I hated Reggie Miller.
Yeah, I did too. I think, but he was that awesome. He was that villain of back then,
Yeah,
But I remember, like, because I collected cards, I liked all the teams. But I remember my brother was a hardcore Bulls fan, so we'd watch like the WGN, like the whole. They used to have this thing before the games. Would go down the streets of Chicago and all the way up to their stadium and introduce the guys, and we'd get there early enough to watch the starting lineups.
Is that even a thing anymore?
I don't think so, man.
WGN.
I
I remember,
well,
like,
maybe that is, but I don't. Not the cool because they'd always.
but they probably don't have the Bulls games.
Yeah, and they used to
anymore.
always do the Cubs games. For
And
some
what-
reason, the Braves games were
Yeah.
always at TBS and
Yeah.
and then the Bulls games were always on back
I
then.
remember at my grandma Richard's house that it was channel 9 on it was WGN. That's crazy. It's just shit like kids probably most like if I ask my kids like what's on cable, they're like, what?
What are you talking about?
Is that Netflix?
My
that
kids
on
might have.
Amazon
They had
Prime?
the start of it because my kids were like the Nickelodeon age and some
Yeah.
of that, but they've moved.
I mean, you just go even from your
5
kids'
years
generation-
on. I know.
So Mike, I bet but Bristol don't even know.
See, Isaac does because he used to have to go find Nickelodeon,
Yeah.
and we had regular cable and stuff for a long
That's like
time.
a thing of the past.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, we have
Well, it's like me. I get stressed out because my wife starts to know these Hulu channels, and I'm like, I knew channel 3, number 24, whatever. And now I can't find shit. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, they moved
So
everything
annoying,
around.
Yeah. You're talking about records. I was just going through my Twitter today and looking through stuff when I was sitting in the doctor's office and talking about records. I know I screenshot it right here. This kid from Conway a few years ago,
I figured all yours were gonna be Conway.
well, this is way
Just
after I was
playing.
out of school. It was like this was from 2012. Tanner Wood from Conway scored his 9th touchdown and has 657 rushing yards in one game.
That's crazy.
That's still number 2 in the nation.
That's sad. I feel bad for the other
Yeah,
teams.
but look at the score, 85-48. They were back and forth all
Well, I don't know about back and forth.
They were at that
They
point.
were back. They were
It
fourth
was-
and then back twice.
Yeah.
Fourth and
No,
then
it was a
back
close
twice.
game. Kids from Conway could have done that a lot. Like anytime we probably played Bell Plain or any of those
Oh,
other shit
here we
schools.
go, man. I don't know about that.
My kid, Bristol was talking about something the other day, and she goes, "Yeah, they're playing some shitty school, like Bell Plain or something like that. Some trashy.
Hey, I thought we were
school."
pretty good at basketball still
I
and
can't
stuff.
remember what it was. I think it was.
I thought they've been pretty good at
what
some
did she
stuff.
say? Like
Hey,
we don't want to go there. or
See,
something.
here's the
Bell
difference.
Plain.
Here's the difference between me and you.
What's that?
The ultimate. Well, there's a billion differences.
Bell Plain is.
I never cared, but I was never that. Like you are that guy 25 years later holding on to high school stuff.
No.
And I held on to like some chicks I slayed in high school or like some cocaine I did in the locker room.
You probably
or,
still don't like certain schools that you guys played against. I don't really. The only school I don't like is Garden Plain. But I
mine's
don't-
probably Douglas, but that was.
You're
But I've got
close.
a bunch of friends from there.
Yeah,
No,
so I don't really care about anything but that. Like, but I'll
No,
still
I
talk
don't.
shit on your school. Oh, there's a guy I work with that went to Bell Plain. I was like, oh yeah, my buddy on my podcast.
Oh, he must suck now.
Nah,
yeah.
he's a lot older than us.
But I never even when I went to Bell Plain, I didn't hang around. I mean, my situation, my girls, my life was out of there. I kind of knew that, and I got out of that town as quick as I could, and have never remotely even went back. I
We
mean,
need to go do a podcast from Belle Plaine.
we could do that. I'm still semi-famous down there. I'm not like hated. I didn't get ran out of town. I just was that guy that always said, I want to get the fuck out of this town and not go back. And that was kind of, I go back for some friends, some families, some whatever.
I don't ever care to live in my hometown, but I would like to live out in the country.
And I
like
had
by
some,
my parents'
like
house
my
sometime.
senior year, we had a team, like literally, it was one of my memories is both good and bad of like my senior year was like the first year we'd like advance past sub-state in basketball in like 10 years. It was kind of a big deal. But it's also the year that like in halftime we had guys that were doing cocaine in the locker room halfway through the season that we had to kick off the team. So it was like a good and a bad memories list. But back to the
one thing
my-
I always
my
remember about Belle Plaine was they always had a band. Like they had a good band.
yeah,
like
we
they had a
did.
guitar player and a badass drummer.
It was always
in that
yeah.
upstairs part.
We were always the obscure. We had cross country, softball, band. We had a killer weightlifting program, but it never translated into our sports.
Yeah.
We were never bad in basketball. We were never bad in baseball. We were just never good. We were always bad in football because it's hard when you have
Middle of the road.
But it's hard when you have, like my senior year, we had 11 seniors out for football. We had, on your football team, you have 26 kids, and then you're looking across, even a team like Douglas has 50 kids out, you're like, okay, we can compete for 13 minutes, and then we got a sub, and then some of my biggest ones, and I'm not even like a huge baseball guy, but like the thing that I remember was like the Sosa McGuire one. Bonds one was a pretty
What
big
year
one.
was that? Like
98.
98.
So I would have been, but I remember like it was talked about at school. I remember like going home or like you'd be watching something, and I don't remember, it wouldn't be anything, but like certain things would cut in and go to McGuire or Sosa hitting home runs. I remember like it took like the country by storm. That was what was going
like
on.
it'd be like, breaking Sammy Sosa's up to bat or
Yeah,
whatever.
and now they break in and they say Kyrie said something else about a Jewish person, or
Who
or
was that just they were making the big deal about? Judge.
Aaron Judge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they were breaking
and
into
that was a
that.
big one. That was baseball will do that, and then like I think this LeBron thing they're going to cut in, or all basketball and
yeah.
all sports stuff's going to cover that.
So let's see here. They're saying against the Bucks, right?
Yeah, because I don't know if like he scored 27 last night. I feel bad. I mean, I do feel bad for him because he's working his ass off, and his team is bad, and maybe part of that's his doing because he's tried to make some things happen. He is that dummy. Here's the bad teammate, LeBron, that like it makes me want to come out and be like, why? Today he comes out, yeah, I am disappointed we didn't get Kyrie involved.
Did you watch that?
He
With Wilbon.
No, I just heard it all. But the whole point is you got a guy like Russell Westbrook who's going to be on the team, and he was the guy that was the trading situation.
Yeah. Well, they still have a few days, don't they?
Well, yeah, but they're not going to get him. I don't know who they'll go get if they can get. There's no big,
Let's say they got something.
like a CP3 or something like that. Do you go throw a 38-year-old with that team and expect to go do anything? You need a young shooter is what they need.
That's what he was talking about. He was like, man, he's like,
That was me.
oh,
That was my
he's
chair.
like, I'm still, I'm 20 years in the league, and he's like, I'm out running 21-year-olds and I'm out jumping. Dude's a fucking freak.
No, that's what I said. He's that guy like Jordan. That was the thing. Or Kobe. Even when Kobe was kneed up and wrapped up, he'd get out there and he was still hustling guys for balls. And there's one thing I seen, and I didn't like, I'll be honest, I was not a Kobe guy during the Kobe years. The more I learned about Kobe, the after years, I became more of a fan, like just as the coach and the athlete, and I don't even know athlete, the sports person in me, like when he'd go bitch a teammate out, but then you'd see him like, man, I'm 36. Why did I beat you to that ball? Yeah. You were 4 feet closer. Why do you want it more than me? And that kind of stuff. I
or
respect.
That deal with the Olympics. Did you ever watch that? Where he's like, first day I'm fucking going through Paul Gasol.
I don't know if that's necessary, but that's the competitor side in him. I don't know if that, but that set a
the
a
thing
tone.
about Kobe, he was like great basketball player, tried hard, but horrible helicopter rider.
That's true. I think he was a great one. I think his success rate was really high. It was, but in that game, one is bad. I don't like that. So I don't like that topic. These are the ones where we're not going to meet in the middle. I'm going to try to stay over on this side.
I mean, that wouldn't make him a great helicopter.
I'm just saying, we've done so good on TikTok at not getting kicked off. Is that what you were going for? Like we can't make it 2 weeks in a row?
I think we can. We're all right. nobody's watching, so
That's true. You kick it. You scared everybody off, and you, yeah.
Yep.
It was doing good for a minute, but you know.
I have a topic here that'll probably get us kicked off.
Okay, what do you got?
Because what about the NFL being scripted?
Who was it that
Arian Foster.
Yeah, and he's my boy. He's my
Yep.
vegan, and he didn't really say it's. I mean, he did and didn't.
Well,
Different
have you
words.
seen-
It was all the jokes of.
Have you seen this?
Did he release his script?
This is the leaked script for the Super Bowl. We'll go ahead and call it right here. 34-37 Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, if you believe it,
That's what they're saying.
go bet your money.
We got to go put some money on it. So it looks like, according to this, the Chiefs are going to score 24 points by halftime. It's going to be 24-13 at half. The Eagles will put up 11 in the third, Chiefs 0, and then they're going to score the rest of their points in at the fourth quarter.
It'd be crazy.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
Where'd that come from?
I saw it on Twitter or something like that.
Well, we did. We were the first ones to call out the
Super Bowl score?
the Super Bowl score, but also the World Cup.
Oh, yeah. I don't.
And we were wrong about
Yeah,
that.
I think we were.
So,
Well, we weren't wrong. We were just copying.
I know, but let's hope. I don't know. He did. I don't know. I wouldn't. I mean, it sucks though because all these guys are coming out like, man. So my knee, all this stuff.
Fake,
How come I didn't get?
Yeah.
How come I didn't get let in on the script? Like Ed Reed came out like he was pissed and
Well, that was he just got fired. He's disgruntled.
who? Ed Reed?
Ed Reed.
Yeah,
They didn't have no monies for him.
that's true.
That's because they all whatever he says they do. They steal money. That's Dion even saying that too. He's like, I look in the stands, they're full. Why the fuck all the money going? Well, he doesn't cuss. but
If
where's all the money
if
go?
it was scripted, I would say this: they'd have gave the Cowboys. Of course, they hate Jerry Jones. Maybe he's not following the script, but they'd have gave the Cowboys one by now. And
I don't know. That's
why
the
all
point.
the Patriots ones?
That's the point. You don't give it to the Cowboys that way. Every year, the Cowboys fans like, this is our year.
No, ultimate drama.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no drama. That's
Because
the
it's
thing.
fun.
As I say, there's no drama in it. You
Yeah.
kind of know what's coming or not coming. And then the Barry Bonds one was 2001, and I followed that one, but not the same.
I saw something they said the longest home run ever hit was hit by Barry Bonds.
I wouldn't doubt it. Man, I remember. I do remember those McCovey Cove ones. The amount, I just remember all those people
That
out
was
there in
cool.
the boats
Yeah,
and
that
stuff
was
out
sick.
there just freaking out after the balls. And I wouldn't know McCovey Cove if it wasn't for Bonds.
No, yeah, I mean,
I don't care about the Giants. I know, like, Steve is a huge Giants fan, one of our listeners, and he knows McCovey Cove.
yeah.
But if it wasn't for that, there's no
Dude,
reason.
just crushing those balls.
Oh,
out there.
man.
I just remember, you're talking about breaking in, them guys out in kayaks and they're fucking diving.
Oh,
into
yeah, they
that
were
ball.
beating each other with the
Yeah,
paddles and
yeah.
stuff, trying to get
Get
to
it.
them, especially when it was getting close to that record. So,
Yeah, there's some pretty crazy things happening at that point in time.
what else you got, buddy? Anything else?
No. I
You
think
said
that-
you had a story. You not want to do your story?
I do have a story. Well, last week I told a story about my
And
uncle.
our clapper trending did slow down a little
It
bit,
did,
but
yeah,
that's
but-
okay. We'll get back. I'll get some stories on there.
I told a story about my Uncle Joe,
Okay.
and a lot of people were
You did
asking
get some
about it.
feedback. Who was
Yeah.
Uncle Joe? And I don't
Yeah,
remember
who
him.
was-
And
who was Uncle Joe? And you have a Korean uncle? It seems weird, but I mean,
well, married in, it doesn't seem weird.
yeah, I mean, he
it-
wasn't. Yeah, I mean, my aunt married him, and
Yeah, it's not weird at
and
all.
I did tell a little fib. I said, that I sat too close to the TV, and my Uncle Joe did die. He didn't die.
no,
He's
that
still
was
alive.
yeah,
he's still alive.
that was just to add. What do you say? Like some
That was some
punch to the story.
yeah,
you were
pizzazz to
there.
my
You go.
story.
Okay.
So, my Uncle Joe was a fucking character, dude, and
So far, he seems like it.
and he was a pretty good mentor to me. And one summer, I think, God, how old was it? It was before like we moved to Wellington that one summer when we were in the hot tub with my buddies. This was, I think, like middle, like 7th grade.
Okay.
My Uncle Joe had moved to California, and
Just him, or did your
my
aunt go?
aunt and
Okay,
uncle.
everybody went.
But-
Okay.
My mom was like, you know what? I'm going to send you to California this summer, and you're going to go live with your Uncle Joe for the summer. And then she was kind of talking it up. She's like, your Uncle Joe lives in this cool apartment complex, and he's got a pool, and he's close to the beach, and, you can swim every day in the ocean or the beach. It don't matter. But Uncle
Okay.
Joe's got it all. Well, I get to wherever Uncle Joe's living. It was this apartment complex. My mom sent me out there on a fucking bus, too, by the way.
Greyhound. Or like the cheaper one than that.
Fox,
like
Fox and Hound.
Yeah, the Ferris Hound one or
Yeah,
whatever.
I think it was a Greyhound, and I can't. I don't remember that part about it. I remember just getting there, and back then you just got to watch whatever they got on the little TV thing.
Yeah,
it had one, but I think we watched like reruns of
Friends or something.
Like that.
Which is not you could do that past 18 hours pretty good that way.
Yeah, it was a long trip. So I get to Uncle Joe's apartment complex, and it's not what my mom had made it out to be. First of all, the pool's empty.
Okay.
It's got like a little pond scum down at the bottom.
Okay.
And the good thing about it is my aunt was always at work, so I didn't really ever spend time with my aunt. My Uncle Joe was cool. But my Uncle Joe worked at this apartment complex as a maintenance man.
Okay.
He had like a shop in the back.
Okay.
And he got me a bike and everything, so I had a bike to ride around and shit. Well, I made friends with a couple of the dudes that lived there, and one of the guys was like, hey, we're going to go. We got this beach party going on.
Okay.
So we got on the bikes, rode it down to the beach, and we were hanging out down there, and we had a bonfire that night, and at the bonfire, I met this chick. Her name was Abby.
Okay.
And she had blonde hair, and we were just like cutting it up and listening to music on her boombox and
just
everything.
jamming?
Yeah, just jamming. And she told me that she had an ex-boyfriend, but like the kids now, like my niece would say she had a situation.
Yeah.
Which, according to
You're from out of town.
the way, for what I thought is like, oh, she has a situation.
Whatever.
I thought maybe I didn't really know. I was young. Well, her boyfriend and all of his fucking buddies showed up on their dirt bikes.
What? At the beach?
At the beach. They just come wrapping up over by us. And apparently her and his buddies, they were all in this fucking karate gang.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's big out there.
Well, yeah, and I didn't really know shit about karate back then. I had taken a lesson or two, or I had read some books and shit. And I thought I knew something. So, her boyfriend's name was Mike. He was a fucking dick.
Sounds
and
like it.
he was wanting to start fights with me.
For no
with me
reason.
Right there.
You're just partying.
Yeah,
out by
I was
the
just
beach.
trying to hang out with my friend, with
Cute
this
girl
with
you met.
Abby. Yeah, and he pushed me down on the ground and fucking sidekicked me in my stomach and knocked the wind out of me. And then
That was it. You didn't know how to,
and he left.
you didn't fight back at all or anything.
Nah, he kicked the shit out of me. I mean, you ever been sidekicked before like that?
Not by somebody that knows karate.
No, not by somebody that knows karate. So I didn't even ride my bike home. I fucking walked it home.
You
'cause
couldn't.
I was hurt.
Oh man.
Yeah, you
I've-
ever tried to ride a bike with?
Well, I fell into a pool one time, like the side of it, and I imagine that's like getting kicked by a karate guy, and I couldn't.
I mean, yeah. So I just walked it back, and when I got back to the apartment, my aunt was asleep, and Uncle Joe wasn't anywhere to be found. So I went down to he had like an office down in there, and he was just sitting in there working on these trees.
Okay.
These tiny trees.
Okay, just whatever.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know what they're called.
I think I know what they're
They
called.
kind of grow.
Yeah,
weird.
yeah.
So Uncle Joe's like, why you act like pussy? What happened to you?
Why you not fight back?
Why you be pussy and
I
not
don't
fight
do
back?
that voice. Why am I? I'm doing that voice because you're doing it.
I don't know. So I'll just be Uncle Joe. He's like, you fight like pussy? You don't know how karate? I said, no, Uncle Joe, I do not know how karate.
They don't teach you that back in Kansas.
I said, no, man, I'm from
I can
Kansas.
wrestle
He
a
goes,
little
I'm
bit.
not from Korea. Yeah, and I know a little bit of stuff. I mean, I read in a book, and he goes, I teach you how to fight. We get these boys back. So Uncle Joe and I started practicing karate
Okay.
in his little maintenance man studio
/
that he had.
dojo.
/ dojo.
Okay.
So I was like, Uncle Joe, what is this called? What is this is this taekwondo? Is this karate? And he said, no, this is Uncle Joe karate.
Okay.
So he started teaching me this karate, and I kind of stayed away from the beach, and I was still hanging out with this kid, and I saw Abby one time at it was like a carnival thing.
Okay.
And I said, what's up with Mike, man? He's such a dick. He, you saw him sidekick me and everything like that.
You didn't even call and check on me, man.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I gave you my Uncle Joe's cell phone number. Well,
Did they have
didn't
cell
have a
phones back then?
No, it was a hard line.
Yeah, I was gonna say dial.
He didn't. He had a bing bing. He didn't have a rotary.
Oh, okay, all right. He was up to date at least. He had one of the little lip phones, didn't he?
Yeah.
The Koreans, they love like the
Yeah.
novelty ones.
Yeah, he would answer, "Hello, this is Uncle Joe. What you want from me?" That's how he answered
Pushing
the phone.
it there, bud. Pushing it.
This is how my Uncle Joe
I know
talks.
he's your uncle. He ain't mine.
If you had an Uncle Joe, you would know.
I don't. I do have an Uncle Joe, but he's not
Yeah,
that
he's
Joe.
not Korean.
He's not a Korean Uncle Joe.
Well, I don't know. Should we finish telling? I should probably do a part 2 to this
We'll do
story.
a part 2.
But anyway, so let's end off on part 1. Is I was at that carnival walking around with Abby, and fucking Mike showed up again. And what do you think happened?
Wanted to fight you again.
Mike wanted a piece of me, and him and his boys, they were trying to get me. So what I did was I ran into a bathroom.
Okay.
And I hid in one of the stalls. And when I was in the stall, I jumped up on the toilet, where you can't see my feet, and he comes in there, he goes, "Where the fuck is he at?"
Which is a skill they also teach you in
Yeah.
karate is
Yeah.
hiding.
Yeah.
You got to be a good,
You have to
know your surroundings and blend in well.
So I picked my feet up, and they come in there. Well, when I was in there, there was like a janitor's bucket full of water. Well, they were sitting there, and they were going to smoke a cig in front of the mirror.
So that's how you knew they were freaking
Yeah,
troublemakers.
that's how I knew they were troublemakers.
Smoking
So
cigs.
I grabbed that janitor's bucket, and I stood up on the toilet, and he wasn't paying attention. I dumped that water over his head. Then I Uncle Joe karate kicked the fucking door open. It bashed him and
And then
knocked
what,
him and his buddies, and I
ran
ran away. So
awesome, dude.
We'll end the story there, and I'll
Pick
finish
up
telling.
part 2.
Yeah, part 2 next week. So.
All right. Well, I think that's probably a good place to end the podcast too. That sounds slightly familiar to something I don't know, but
I've never heard anything. Like
real
that.
life imitates a lot of things, or life is
But
imitated by a lot of things.
My
so.
Uncle Joe was a great dude, man. He taught me
seems
so
like
much
it.
stuff.
We're gonna try to have an Uncle Joe story from you every week, so
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I was trying to figure out, because there's a comedian we both, you share a lot of stuff with me with, that he's so full of it, and I think that's part of his bit is that it's obviously BS. What's funny is Theo Vaughn's who I'm talking about.
Okay.
But most of his stories seem a little possibly made up. Half of his stories were my childhood, and not
Yeah.
I mean differently, but
Yeah.
he talks about people like, oh, that guy was doing this. Like, I made a joke about guys in my locker room doing cocaine. I'm not joking. I
True
mean,
story.
that was Belle Plaine. Why did we suck at sports? Because we were all freaking. I mean, and what I wrote down, one of my thing, the best part was I put on there. I had teammates that were doing coke in the locker room, but why would I care? I was high.
Yeah,
So-
me too, bro. Yeah.
But I wasn't doing that. I didn't like that stuff.
Yeah.
I got high so I could not get so mad, but sometimes that didn't work. I was smoking cigarettes and shit. I was like that guy, like trying to get in shape for basketball
Smoking a
and
cig.
to go smoke a cigarette right
Like
after.
Joe Namath smoking a cig on the sideline.
Yeah, like running or
Yeah.
whatever. I was like Scott Bakula on not replacements. God damn it.
Yeah.
No, he was on the armadillos, the fighting armadillos.
Oh, yeah.
God dang it. Anyway, unnecessary roughness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like him. I was like, yeah.
In your Marlboro jacket, your denim jacket. Yeah.
I thought I was cool like that. I
Yeah,
wasn't. Come
cool.
to find out. Well, we'll be back next week. May have Skin Man back. I need to reach out to Steve. Steve, I want you down here for a show.
Yeah.
We'll get you up in the corner over here, wherever. Going to try to have some more guests coming in time to time. We will bring back some interviews. Our number one interview that we wanted to finish with still hasn't showed back up, but what are we going to do?
I haven't talked to him in a little bit. I'll have to
Ah,
inquire.
we'll see where he's at on the list if he ever wants to come back.
I'm here to date the 6-year-old. What do you think tap water is? It's a gay bomb, baby. It's a gay bomb, I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that?